Well, it's still Valentine's Day time, so I guess I should do another Valentine's Day video. But which one should I do? What's that? Okay, I guess I'll do an episode from What's New Scooby-Doo. So heads up on this one, because there are spoilers from 16 years ago. You have been forewarned. So alright, let's go. Alright, so we are in 2005 with an episode of What's New Scooby-Doo called a Scooby-Doo Valentine.
Fancy!
So this one starts off with the gang of Mystery Inc. finally making their way home. After all these years on the road, they kind of need some R&R back at their home. I guess, we never really seen this before, so that's pretty hip. As they are driving past Lover's Lane, we see this happy couple of Mike and Sheila get attacked from some kind of monster. We also find out they are the 8th couple to get attacked, and they all got kidnapped.
Meanwhile,
Fred, Shaggy, and Scooby are chilling out at home when George the mailman drops off a whole bunch of mail, including 3 new Valentines from a secret admirer. George also delivers to Daphne and Velma at their house, and also gives them some new Valentine's card from a secret admirer as well. Okay, whoa, wait a second. They own 2 houses in this random town? How do they pay for this? Actually, in fact, how do they pay for anything? They drive around the country non-stop. Heck, they drive around the whole world non-stop. And they have 2 mortgages back in some random town? Ghosts and goblins, yeah, sure, I can get behind that. But this financial situation is just a bit much. I'm starting to believe none of this is real. So anywho, Mystery Inc. heads out to Lover's Lane to start investigating what happened over there with these monsters. We find out that Mike was kidnapped, but Sheila wasn't. She was there to tell the story to the cops. And the cops, particularly Officer McBride, are not too happy with Mystery Inc. They don't need no snot-nosed kids telling them how to do their job. They can do it just fine themselves. So they basically tell Mr. Inc. to go pound sand and get out of here. But Sheila sees Mr. Inc. and she freaks out because, oh my god, those are the guys that attacked us. But yoinks, we just got in town, man. It wasn't us. Also, Shaggy and Scooby meet up with their ex-girlfriends from this town, Rachel a human and Roxanne the dag. So we find out that Shaggy actually dumped Rachel because him and his friends are gonna go on this road trip investigating ghosts and stuff many moons ago. And he's like, yoinks, I can't do a long-distance relationship. Okay, that's a really bad impersonation, sorry. In fact, Rachel's over Shaggy now. In fact, she's dating this new guy, JC Chazé, who is some famous musician. Roxanne the dag is dating JC's dog now, Rico. Everyone's moved on. So while the gang is hanging out at one of their multiple homes, they get a special delivery of more Valentines from their secret admirer. So they all have to sign for it, and these Valentines say to meet them at Lover's Lane at midnight. So they go there to see what's what, and then they get attacked by evil clones of themselves. Holy jeez, clones? I hope it's the same clones from Star Wars: The Clone Wars. Do we get to see Commander Cody? He's the best, even though he turned on Obi-Wan Kenobi after Order 66, but still, he'd be so awesome to see him there. What? No? Not those clones? Oh, okay, that's cool, I guess. I guess we're still stuck with the animated version of The Breakfast Club here. Yeah, I can dig that. So as the gang is running away from these clone troopers, somebody left a confession Valentine, signed by everybody at Mystery Inc. saying that they did all the kidnapping. And that's a good enough confession to get them arrested. Even though when they first came into town, the 8th kidnapping happened. That means there were 7 kidnappings that happened before they got into town, but how did they do that if they weren't there? But hey, who cares, right? Logic be damned. Also, while they're in jail, JC Chazé tells Shaggy to confess to the confession that they already confessed to, allegedly, which kind of makes no sense, but c'est la vie. Of course, in prison, Velma comes up with a pretty wicked plan to kind of prove their innocence, and suddenly Officer McBride is like, yeah, sure, whatever you say, let's do it. So Daphne and Fred pretend they're on a date at Lover's Lane, and as a backup plan, Shaggy and Scooby are also pretending that they're on a date, with Scooby-Doo dressing up as the lady in the date because he's got the legs for it.
prison changes a man sometimes.
As they're on these dates, bam! They get attacked by the clone troopers. And they have super strength. They even lifted up the mystery machine above their heads. Like, holy jeez, eh? So after getting run around the forest for a while, Velma uses a Ewok-inspired log attack that knocks the clone troopers into a net and catches them. Huzzah! As the mask comes off, we find out that this was all a plan from JC Chazé. He was really jealous of Rachel constantly talking about Shaggy. So his plan was not to talk to Rachel like an adult and say, yo, forget Shaggy, I'm here for you now. It was to spend tons of money on an elaborate plan involving kidnapping and other felonies. What a guy, what What a dreamboat. We also find out all the kidnapped couples are hanging out at a cabin that JC Chazé owns. They've been there for weeks. Didn't they ever think to call the cops? Didn't they ever think to call their parents? Anyone? The newspaper? They're all just hanging out there at some big party. Was there drugs involved? I bet there were drugs involved. That would explain it. But anywho, that's that. The day is saved. The party is over, I guess. And yeah, so that's that. I guess that's a Valentine's Day episode? So not really so much of a Valentine's Day episode, but you know, just some Valentine's Day themes tossed in there, and your basic Scooby-Doo episode, which I think is pretty awesome, right? So no complaints there. I've seen more complex Scooby-Doo episodes from the past. I wouldn't say this one's like lazy or anything. The whole clue gathering thing is kind of just bland. It was this giant puddle of glue on the dirt, and they realized that was for makeup adhesive. Like, how much did they use? And the getting of the signatures through the mail. If Mystery Inc. didn't accept the special delivery Valentines, they wouldn't have signed for it, and the kidnappers wouldn't have had their signatures to forge. Just happy happenstance that everything worked out for JC Chazé. Oh. There are only a couple of things in there that are kind of lazy like that. Other than that, it's pretty funny, it's pretty classic Scooby-Doo, and it's a pretty awesome episode. So if you're hip to Scooby-Doo, definitely check this thing out. Alright, until then. So after all these years of Mystery Inc. going up against some random ghosts and ghouls and other monsters, it was pretty nice to see them go up against themselves. Because this is a pretty classic thing to do in television, right? Like there's always that evil doppelganger episode. You've seen that in the original Star Trek with the Mirror Universe. In Knight Rider you had Kit going up against the evil car called Car. Superman had to go up against Bizarro. Steven Urkel had to go up against Stefan Urkel. And so on. So yeah, also Daphne was upset that her clone was portrayed by some random extra, to which she says, ugh, was Sarah Michelle Gellar busy or something? So nice throwback to the original live-action movie, where Sarah Michelle Gellar played Daphne. Also on a point I made earlier in this, how did Mystery Inc. afford 2 houses, and afford to go all across the world? According to the legendary Casey Kasem, who was the original voice of Shaggy, he has stated in an interview that everybody in Mystery Inc. are all trust fund kids, and they come from very well-off families. Even Scooby's family are all pedigree championship dags. Shaggy's family got rich from real estate. Velma's family owned a whole bunch of bookstores. Daphne's family has a whole bunch of industrial money. And Fred's family is all involved in politics, so I'm going to assume that's where all the money came from. Now, if you didn't know this, Casey Kasem became a vegan, and he always wanted his character Shaggy to become vegan as well. Now, Shaggy didn't go all vegan, he went vegetarian in 2002. At the end of this episode, you see him eating a veggie sandwich. Kind of confirms, yeah, he's now a vegetarian. Of course, this is one of the multiple variations of the Scooby Gang, and one really interesting variation comes from DC Comics, where Mr. Inc. are now apocalypse detectives, so kind of a different fun iteration of the team. So yeah, check it out. Right on, and there you go. So thanks for watching the video. I hope you liked it as much as I did making it. Also, feel free to check out the source material that I featured in this video, and if you want to leave a comment on anything you may have liked or things I might have missed in this, you know, feel free to do so, or anything else, you know, just to say hi, that's cool too. And other than that, you know, have a great day. Thanks.